Hey everybody, welcome to the Europa Pro Spain preview. Joining me is a partner in crime all the way from Tiger Towers, somewhere in the UK. Giles, Tiger, Thomas. How are you, Giles?
I'm very good, Ron. How are you, mate?
Good. I just heard you coughing though. You got me scared. What's going on? Are you okay?
I'll be honest, I was a little bit worried a couple of days ago, but I feel all right today. I did my cardio today, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. But, when you start to get a bit of a tickly cough, I was thinking, oh no, getting worried now. So, yeah, I've been well looked after, and I'm feeling great now. So.
You know, in the age of COVID, this is a funny joke. Said people used to fart to cover up a cough. I'm sorry, they used to cough to cover up a fart. But now it's the opposite because nobody wants. If you could cough, everyone's like, "Oh no!" If you sneeze, oh my God,
yeah.
So let's get into this. This is the second to last show to qualify for the Olympia. It's this weekend, the show in Alicante, Spain, and then the Chicago Pro, and that's it. Then we have the Olympia locked up as far as who's qualified. So as expected, we have a really good turnout for this show. Now you've been to this show before, correct?
The Alicante, no, I haven't. Not with Emilio, because Emilio took over after the split in 2017.
Okay.
And I've not been to the Alicante. I've been to when it was the Europe, when it was with Madrid, when it was with Rafael.
Yeah.
And obviously I went to the Arnold Europe. I've been to Spain a few times for that, but I've never been to because Emilio Martinez and Geo Ferreira, Geo takes care of the Portugal. They kind of co-promote together. But I believe that Gian and Enrico from Italy, they've all kind of collaborated on this one to create one gigantic kind of epic pro show, So that's what they've done with this one. And it's someone put on Instagram, they said this is going to be the biggest pro event in Europe ever. And to be honest, and apart from maybe some of the British Grand Prix, but that's just one pro category, I really do think it's going to be probably the biggest pro bodybuilding event ever, especially with it being top 3 in every category qualifying for the Olympia. Yeah,
that is different, and it makes sense because the European athletes were having great difficulty trying to get to the shows in the U.S. We had situations like poor Samson Dauda was at the airport at Heathrow. He was ready to get on the plane to go compete in, I think it was the Tampa Pro. And they wouldn't let him on the plane. They said, no, you don't have the right paperwork. And he had letters from everyone, and the poor guy. So I imagine a lot of these athletes, they probably had targeted shows earlier in the season that were in the U.S. and where most of the shows are. Most of the pro shows are in the U.S. And so yeah, it makes sense. You're going to have a stacked lineup, and I think it was a good move on the part of the IFBB Pro League to let top 3 qualify because so many outstanding athletes from over in Europe and the Middle East that could not get over here. So it's only fair. It's only right. Top of the list. Yeah.
One thing. Do you think it's fair that these guys get to have top 3 in, say, Chicago and what's the other show in America now?
That's it. That's Chicago. The last show.
Do you think Chicago? Because I thought all the pro shows from Tampa, New York, I think all of them should have been top 3. I think all of them should, with the short amount of shows. Yeah. I think all of them. If you make one top 3, I think they should have made all top 3 to save sending out special invites at the very last minute. I personally think, and also I think the other shows like the British Grand Prix, the Romania, all the shows before the 2020 Olympia should all be qualifiers for the 2020 Olympia, not the 2021. It doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. There seems to be enough time. I think the issue is with the Olympia, they always want to have everybody qualified far ahead of time so they can do all the promotional materials and have the tracksuits made. So they can't be doing that at the last minute. You can't have a show like that's in the British Grand Prix is November, right?
Yes.
And Romania, isn't Romania also in November?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see where it could throw a monkey wrench into their plans for getting tons of promotional materials with all the athletes competing in the Olympia ready in time. But yeah,
you still have pros. You still when things were normal in 2019, you still had pro shows right up till August. So that was with the Olympia being in September, it was still. I don't think that argument flies really.
Yeah, it is what it is, as we say. Let's get into this because the huge news came last week when Big Ramy, nobody even ever says his whole name. It's Mamdou Elsbieh. But right. Yeah, that's his real name. He announced he was competing. It was on the Dragon Pharma, his sponsor's YouTube. They said he did a little blurb and said, "Yes, I'm competing in Spain." And I honestly thought he was going to ask for a special invite, and I thought they'd give it to him because you're the Olympia promoter? Wouldn't you want Rami in your Olympia? Of course you would. But he wants to earn his way there, and he's doing it. And have you been looking at the photos and videos of him? What do you think of the current condition?
He's not giving much away. All I've seen is that one picture of him doing the most muscular, and it's very difficult. He looks his waist looks small. He kind of looked flat, and people said he looked soft. But I mean, you've seen how much Rami can change overnight. I mean, you look at the 28 Olympia when he wasn't even top 6, and then I think based upon how he looked on the night show on the Saturday, I had him maybe around 4th place. And obviously, what he did at the Arnold Classic back in March, I mean, he looked okay. He looked good at the judging. And I thought he looked fantastic at the night show. So his body can change very, very fast for the better. So it's very difficult to say. He's not that. To be honest, I kind of had a feeling months ago. I think I might have said on one of these previews. I said months ago. I said it's obvious he's going to do Spain. Where else is he going to qualify? I don't understand. Especially with what happened with where he was flying from the Arnold and he got stuck in Dubai for several months, going to the Arnold Australia, and then only a few weeks ago he was back in Egypt. But I was not surprised. I just thought this was kind of like when the news hit, and I was like, well, of course. I mean, it would have been. I mean, they probably would have given him a special invite purely because he's a big draw, and it would be a real shame to not see Rami, at the Olympia this year. So for me, it wasn't a huge shock, and really, I mean, this is if he doesn't win this, I mean, it's going to be a huge surprise, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of speculation that Rami's probably going to coast in at 80% of his best because that'll be good enough to win at a show with this lineup. Nothing against the other guys. I think he has some excellent competition. And I wonder if he shows up at 80%, could someone like a James Hollingshead, who is looking insane right now, could James beat Rami if Rami shows up, off?
No.
No?
No, I don't. To be honest, you put that post on Instagram. You said, "Hey, Ron here." James Holland said, "I mean, James is absolutely fantastic, and he's making huge improvements. In fact, a lot of the British guys are making they're very, when we had Luke and and all that Samson, these guys in the last 2-3 years have really gone from kind of like just good amateurs to being like serious, like pro show winning pros. So they've really, really pulled it out the bag the last couple of years. They've really improved fast. I don't know the work ethic or whatever." But thing is with James looks absolutely incredible. He's got a bit of a Dennis James thing going on, maybe, where he looks. I mean, you look at these pictures he's been posting, and you just think, how could anyone beat this? You just think, I mean, the waist. It looks. I mean, he's really well put together. His rear shots. I mean, the lines in his traps, his legs. His legs from the side, the freakiness, and that he's going to be so improved. And obviously, being prepped by Patrick Tour, he's going to be in very, very good condition. But I mean, I don't think he could take Rami out. No, I don't. I think he'll look. It's just whether that physique from what we see on Instagram. If 85% of what we see on Instagram translates to the stage, he's going to be a front runner, absolutely. But as for winning it, I would be very surprised if he did.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of flack just for saying that he's going to give Rami any trouble because they're like, Rami's going to walk right through that show, just like, walk across the stage, pick up his trophy without even hitting a pose. He could do that. But it kind of bothers me because James has this crazy detail and crispness, the lines, the details. I wish Rami had all that. If Rami had all that, geez, I think he could be Mr. Olympia. So that's why I'd like to see them give James and Rami and maybe a couple of these other guys for sure really, really good call out and really work them hard instead of, Rami's here. He's one of the greatest in the world. He wins hands down. Couple other guys.
I do think that's going to be the case. I mean, to be honest, I put in my MD Global Muscle Buzz column the other month. I said I'm really looking forward to seeing James versus Samson because obviously now we don't have Luke. There is I mean, aside from Nathan, there's a real sort of fight on for who is the best British pro. And I know James really wants to take that mantle, but also you got Samson really coming up and really showing massive improvement. Second in Korea, he was second in the British Grand Prix to Nathan last year, and he's going to be improved because he's not going to be quarantined up in a hotel room and. He's had a chance to train. We've been keeping up with all his kind of progress pictures and his videos. I think I'm most looking forward. I think Rami's got this, But I'm really looking forward to seeing James Hollingshead versus Samson Dowda purely from a who's the best in out of these British guys.
Now, do you think Samson can give James a real problem? Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, James.
I think James is going to be. It's going to be like kind of like Flex Wheeler versus Dorian. The Flex Wheeler got the prettier shape and the nicer lines, but then James is going to be bringing that density and that real full. The real kind of he's just like a tank. He's a shed. So that's the one I'm looking forward to: shape versus kind of density.
Yeah, Samson's like a hero now with all the crap he's been through. Everyone's rooting for Samson.
Yeah.
Guy's had a tough year.
Well, how can you not root for someone who's been through what he's been through? I mean, he's been through hell, and he's just kept going, and he's kept that. He's got a great attitude, and I mean, when he posted a video, it was it was only a few days after he must have gone back in career, and I said, Samson, I put on his post, I said, when was this taken? He said, this was today, and I said, well, just a few days of you being back in the UK and having your, the less stress and having gyms to train at and your food and I said, your physique has completely snapped back to what we kind of really wanted to see on stage from you this year.
Yeah. Another guy I'm really looking forward to seeing is Rafael Brandao, he's made great improvements also, which I knew he would. You spotted him back in, was it 2017 at the show in Italy? Was that the first time you saw him in person?
Yeah, it was his pro debut. He got 8th. He was first call out. He was like Brandon at the Olympia. He got first call out, but he ended up getting 8th place.
Yeah, I mean he's put on so much quality muscle since then, and he's kept that. He's got the tiniest waist. He's a classic looking physique, but with the massive and open competitor. I don't know how much bigger he is, but he looks significantly larger to me than last season at the spring shows that he was doing. I'm looking at Instagram pictures, of course, like we all are. But what do you think? Do you think Rafael could push these guys too?
Yes, I do. 6'1". I mean, when he made his pro debut in 2017 at the San Marino, he was 6'1" and 245. I think when he was it top 5 at the New York Pro in 2018, he went up to about 250, and then he moved over to Boca Raton training with Flex Lewis, the Dragon's Lair, and every single picture has just been constant progress. But I think a few weeks ago he went back to, where did he go back? Was it Brazil he went back to?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the last couple of weeks, the videos and the photos I've been seeing, I thought it looked like his upper body had shrunk a bit. His legs were really grown. I mean, he's these amazing leg sessions with John De La Rosa and Flex Lewis. But I really saw that his upper body just kind of the only thing I can think of is he's just very flat and depleted, because the video I saw of him posing today, he's absolutely, I assume he's depleted, not filled out, and he's absolutely shredded to beyond belief. But he kind of looks like, I'm hoping it's just because he's depleted, and when he fills out, I think he might look sensational. But to me, his upper body looked like it had shrank a little bit in the last few weeks. So I'm just worried, maybe being away from the Dragon's Lair. And someone, I won't say who, they said, they just want to bring him in really shredded for this one, because I think they know he knows he can't outmass Ramy. So I think maybe he's going to, they're really going to push the conditioning and the symmetry because I think a lot of people are seeing this as Rafael versus Ramy.
Wow. You think it could come down to those two?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Yeah. Another guy that I think I don't want to sleep on him for 1 second, is Regan Grimes from Canada, because Regan has gotten a lot bigger too. I mean, I wish Regan would compete more. Geez, I've only seen him a couple times, and I think I've seen him more when he was trying Classic out that year, a couple of years ago. In the Open, I only remember him from Tampa a few years ago. I wasn't obviously in Romania last year. That's where he got like third or something, didn't he, in Romania last year? Yeah, I mean, and he looks better and better. I just, Regan, I wish you'd compete more stateside so we could give you more coverage and hype you up a little bit more. That kid looks phenomenal. He has that classic physique structure and shape, tiny waist, round, bubbly muscles. Everything's so full. But I want to say he's up to about 260, something like that now in shape. Looks like. Wow. Yeah. How do you rate Regan Grimes?
I think Regan, I hated when he switched to Classic. I thought he was one of the only ones that was off at the Olympia that year when he did it. I mean, what was he? He didn't place very well. I think we were all expecting him to win it.
It was like 10th or 11th or something.
What was he, sorry?
I think he got like 10th or 11th that year. I'm not sure.
it was not like, it was like, no, look, mate, I know you won New York Pro, but then he went to the Olympia and he kind of bombed out. His physique was kind of watery and soft and depleted, and because you could see his body wanted to grow. It was not meant to be pulled down to that kind of, because he is a big kid. He's a really big, tall, wide kid. He's like Raphael. You don't realize how tall he is until you meet him in real life,
And wide, clavicles out to here.
Yeah, but he's got some. He's got a kind of like not would say like it's more like a aesthetic, but Michael Lockett type muscle, where all the muscle, like you watch his videos, he does a lot of stuff where he's doing some back movements and like the way his traps and his triceps move. He's got a real kind of interesting look to his muscle that's quite fascinating. And but when he did Romania last year, because he never really gets bone dry. But his symmetry and his proportions and the fullness of his muscle, because he's got that young, fresh muscle, I think once he really starts to mature, I mean, to be honest, I can't figure out where he's going to fit in all this. I think it all depends upon how his physique has improved. But it'd be interesting to see how he's a guy that if he come in shredded, I mean, he could be maybe taking second to Ramy instead of like the James or the Raphaels or the Samsons, one of these guys. So yeah, I'm just interested to see how his physique has improved, because he's at that age now where his physique is really starting to flourish, and improve. So I'm very excited to see Regan.
Yeah, this is an interesting show, the Open, because Ramy's most likely going to win, but then when you start talking about who's going to take second, third, fourth, fifth, it's anybody's game, really. These guys are all very good. None of them are like dominating over the others. They all have unique characteristics that could take them over. Lucas Osladil from Czech Republic, he's in the show. Never disappoints with condition. One of the most consistently conditioned guys in the pro league. I've never seen him remotely off. I'm sure he really wants. I think he doesn't need that many more points to qualify for Olympia. So I know he wants to knock this one out of the park and get those last points. Looking forward to seeing Lucas Osladil.
Yes, yeah, like you said, like when has that guy ever brought in off condition? I remember when he came into the Olympia and he was it was last year, the year before, and I was like, he's off, and he was still the most shredded guy up on stage. Like when he came out of the group right now, he's off. For Lucas, he is off,
right.
But he was still the hardest out of that group. So that tells you just how good his conditioning is. And he's one of these guys that. He's a bit like Milan Shardek. He's one of these guys that you kind of just, he's never a talking factor point before these shows. But right. I think Lucas Osladil, I think he's won 6 pro shows. Yeah,
he's definitely won his fair share, and he's been top 3 many, many times.
Yeah,
I mean, he's underrated. We don't talk. I don't think about him that often until I finally see his name. I go, oh yeah, Lucas. Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
I would be like absolutely shocked beyond belief if he didn't make top 5. And maybe even top 3. So, I mean, Lucas Osladil, there's a guy who's just consistent. I remember when he was at 212 and now he's like 240, 245 and still bringing condition.
Yeah. And he does that crazy thing. He rolls his glute from the side, rolls it up and down, and you can see the striations like dancing. It's one of the craziest things you'll ever see. Another guy, Milan, we just mentioned, I think you just mentioned Milan Shardek.
Yeah.
Is he also from Czech Republic?
He's Czech Republic, yeah.
Oh boy, they're pumping out some great athletes. Yeah, Milan is another former 212 that I kind of forget about at times because they don't hype. He doesn't talk shit about people. He doesn't hype himself up. He just does the work like Dorian used to do. Keeps his head down, works hard, and shows up at the events looking incredible. And he always does. He was 3rd at the New York Pro last year. For someone he was too tall to be a 212, and he's moved up to open, which I'm glad he did. He's consistently improving. I'm curious to see because I haven't seen him on stage. I haven't seen him since New York Pro last year, I don't think. No. So I'm wondering, what he looks like now and how much better he is.
Well, you say that you don't remember as a 212, but he made top 5 at the Olympia in 212.
I don't remember. Yeah, see?
I've got 6th in 2017 in my head. 5th or 6th in 2017.
Yeah.
He won remember when he won the Charlotte Pro and he beat Nicholas Vouliud and Craig Richardson, well-known New York Open guy who switched back to 212. This is a guy that there's another guy you'd be like very, very surprised if he's out of the top 6. He's always going to bring condition. He's got beautiful symmetry, beautiful proportions. There's a guy that's probably unlikely to blow it or ruin his physique. I saw a picture of him doing like a most muscular, and I didn't really see huge amounts of gains. But sometimes when these guys are depleted, it's hard to see, and then you see them. It's like Jamie Johal. all the progress pictures, all the videos, the last few months I've not been seeing. He's like, oh, I'm 20 pounds heavier. And I'm thinking, you look smaller, mate. I don't really see any improvement. And then he posted a video of the week of him pumped, and it just looked like a completely different physique. So when these guys fill out and pump up and everything, you know, that's when you see the improvements. And I think Milan's going to be one of those types of guys, like maybe like Rafael is as well, where, you know, you have to sort of, you know, they're putting the progress pictures when they're like morning, they're sending their progress pictures to their coach when they're like, you know, on pretty much depleted on zero carbs, so their bodies are flat and depleted. So so Milan, yeah, don't sleep on Milan, because he's always going to be a factor. I mean, top 3 in the New York Pro. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Jamie Johal Christian, or is it Christian Johal? It's Christian. It's Johal Christian, right?
It's yeah, it was his stepdad's name. He took an Indian name, Johal. It's Christian slash hyphen Johal.
Okay, so Jamie, we just call him Jamie the Giant.
Jamie the Giant.
This is his pro debut, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I filmed him on Sunday for Global Muscle.
You can say, you don't have to cover him. Global Muscles is one of our shows. It's fine.
No, it's going out tomorrow, and I don't want to reveal who's in it. Well,
oh, Global Muscle will be up before this.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah. So you've seen it. It's out in Global Muscle. Yeah, I filmed him doing his last leg session before this show, for his pro debut. And he's going to be, I mean, let's say he's going to be 300 pounds on stage, even if he's a couple of pounds under. But he is literally the tallest pro, 6'5". He has gained, I think it's 20-something pounds since he turned pro in 2018. And I'm telling you, he looks absolutely... I was walking behind him when I was filming him, and his back was just... Because his belt, I mean, he's got a 32-inch waist, and he said around the shoulders, I think he's 63 inches around the shoulders, and he's got a 32-inch waist. And the thing is, I said to him, I said, look, I said, if you didn't have amazing legs, I said, you'd be wasting your time competing as a pro. I said, because the fact is, you've got such good legs at 6'5". I said, it absolutely saves your potential as a pro bodybuilder. Yeah. You know, so I'm really excited to see Jamie. I think he's got aesthetics, because he says, I want to be like a British Tony Freeman, like a British X-Man, because he's got that beautiful. I mean, the front lat spread. I think. I mean, have a look at the Global Muscle.
That's the shot I saw. The front lat spread, very impressive.
Well, that posing footage I put right at the very end of Global, right after the end credits, just so you can see what he looks like when he's been training and he's pumped in his gym. And that front lat spread is an absolute showstopper. I mean, it's. I'm trying to think. Do you know what? I would love to see him, because he said his nickname's now Big Jammy.
Big Jammy.
Big Jammy, yeah. So I want to get Big Jammy next to Big Ramy.
Well, man, stay with Jamie the Giant. That's a great nickname. Why would you want to lose that?
Well,
so there's one final guy. We're also going to see the UK have another pro debut at this show, Mark Hector.
Yes.
Which somebody, I think I found out about him first either in your Global Muscle column or on your show. I'm not sure which, but it was you. I know you're the one that broke him for the first time as far as exposure. I've only seen a couple shots of him, like the hands class, but very nice shape, very full, round muscle bellies. Looks like he's in great condition. So, you know, good luck to him.
Yeah, Mark is one of these guys. His structure is what makes him stand out. It's the shoulder to waist. Remember Paul Dillette when he walked out, and the first thing you saw, or Mike Matarazzo, you saw the crazy shoulder width and the tiny waist, and he's got that structure where. Because he wasn't even shredded when he won his pro card in 2018, when he won the Amateur Olympia at the UK and overall. But his structure just completely annihilated everybody else. So, and the one thing he needed was legs, because he's been trained by Coach Abdullah. Prepped.
Oh, wow.
Prepped. So, because when I was on the Brandon Curry tour, he'd just flown out to be trained for a few weeks with, I think he had 10 weeks out there with Abdullah. So we were in a pizza place, and I was sat with Brandon Curry and AJ and everything, and we gave him a little voice note, and we said, look, somebody wants to, because obviously moving out to Q8, he was probably a bit apprehensive and a bit. So Brandon gave him a little voice note and everything to give him some encouragement.
Oh, wow. So that was nice, huh?
Yeah, nice. So Mark Hector, yeah, there's a beautiful physique. I mean, what potential. I'm sure it was Sean Roden that messaged him, reached out to him, and said, "You've got crazy potential, and you're one that I'm keeping an eye on personally."
Wow.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sean Roden. Yeah.
Wow.
And also Abdullah was the one that did what he did with Brandon Curry. He pointed him and he says, you could be an Olympia champion one day.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. If you got Abdullah's endorsement, I think that says a lot.
Yeah.
So let's move on to 212. A few names here I recognize. The first one that I think is going to be a threat is right there from Spain, Angel Calderon Frias. Very good guy. I think I've seen him a couple times in the U.S. and I don't think he's ever gotten a really good look here for whatever reason. But certainly in his home country, they're going to give him a better look against the other guys. What do you know about Angel?
He's absolutely awesome. I
Hmm.
put in my MD column, I think it was a couple of issues ago, I said, is it the most overlooked pro of 2019? Because like Patrick Moore was at the Olympia where he took 10th, he was kind of one of the biggest talking points of the show because he too took 10th at the Olympia in the 212, but he was one that people really got talking about. And that because he looked amazing there. But when he went to Romania, he won the Romania in the 212. That's why he's actually qualified for the Olympia. He took his physique and his conditioning to another level just by staying on prep, like Hunter Labrada did, really, by staying on prep that extra couple of months, and staying in condition. Like his vascularity with the skin. I mean, he's also we did when we did a Brandon Curry tour back in February. We went to Spain and we went to I forget the name of the gym now. It was a gym opening, and Angel trained with Brandon. And then Brad said to Brandon, I said, Angel's going to strip off afterwards. I said, you need to have a look at this guy. I said, he's really good. And I've got it filmed where Brandon's reaction, he goes, holy shit. He said, I was not expecting the guy to look like that. He says, you're off season. And he's so thickly muscled. It's amazing he even makes the 212, but his legs now are fully in balance with his upper body. I would be unbelievably shocked if Angel did not win this, and I think he'll be first call out at the Olympia. I think he's top 6 Olympia potential, and I expect his physique to be improved over what it was when we last saw him on stage at the Romania Pro.
So give this guy a lot of credit because he's already qualified for the Olympia in December, and here he is in October competing when he didn't have to. But clearly, it must be a pride thing where he's from Spain, and I'm sure he wants to win the only pro show of the year in Spain, which is going to be a huge show. Next up,
I think he'll walk it. To be honest.
I remember him from the Olympia. We were all like, kind of, wow, only 10th place. We all had him a few slots higher than that for sure. Steve Benton from Germany, also very good. I've seen Steve a few times. Great muscle quality. I remember really good condition. I think it was New York Pro I saw him at last year. Steve will be first call out for sure. Jamie Dorigo from Dubai.
Very good.
I've only seen pictures of him on the forum. I don't think I've ever seen him compete. But he looks like a classic guy with a little more mass. He's definitely got some very nice shape to him.
He's got a lot more mass than for a classic, but I know what you mean. He's got that's actually a compliment because what he's got aesthetics and he's got real, because this guy, I mean, he reminds me of like kind of Sean Clarida where he's posting videos of him training hard 12 months of the year. He's not one of these guys that really cranks it up a couple of months before. This is a guy that is constantly improving because he lives out in Dubai. And he's just one of these guys. He's out there to work. He's a very, very, he's really exploded in the last couple of years because he preps a lot of people as well. And all his clients get very good results. But this guy's got an insane work ethic. He's just non-stop. He's on it all the time. And he's very driven, very motivated. And he's got an amazing physique. But I tell you what, there's a guy, I think it could come down to him and Angel. I really do. I think he's that good. And he's another guy who only turned pro like a year or two ago. I think it was last year he turned pro and he did New Zealand. And he took 4th at the New Zealand 212, if I'm right. I'm sure that's right. So one of these guys who did a pro show like a week after turning pro. And he's a new guy. I think we've had him on Global. He's a guy we'll definitely be hearing a lot more of in the future. Good guy as well. Nice guy.
Last guy in the 212 to talk about. I've never heard of him, but like I said, I know you're aware of some really good talent over in Europe that doesn't really make its way to the U.S. until they've already won something. Ole it's Krvyvyi. I'm going to say maybe Curvy. I don't know. Ole, Oleh. So how do you know about this guy? Have you seen him before?
He's a freak.
Okay.
He's very much like Angel Calderon. They could be training partners, those guys, or twin brothers or something, because he's got a very, very tiny little waist. He's got a beautiful kind of V-taper. One of these guys, the progress pictures you see like 3 months out, you think, my God, is this guy ready now? Very vascular, very freaky, kind of, he'll be a factor in this one, absolutely.
Okay, moving on to classic. A few names here I'm familiar with. The first one, German guy named Mike Summerfield. I believe he's prepped by Neil Hill. I've been seeing him on Neil's posts. Yeah. And very, very impressive. Beautiful shape. I think did he turn pro at the same show that the one in the UK that you were at a couple years ago,
Yep.
where Wesley Vissers turned pro?
Yes, correct. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Royal London Pro, the first Two Bros show when they had in the UK was March 2018, because Rosie did the men's physique, women's physique. Yeah, that was yeah, men's physique. Hope not. Yeah, yes, he did the yes, he did that, and he did the heavyweights there. He turned pro as a heavyweight, and
Oh.
then I was really shocked that he switched to classic because he's so big.
Mm.
But I mean, you talk about like this guy looks like he's been photoshopped. Like the shoulder to waist ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'll ask a question. Has he got the craziest frontal bicep in the industry? Like his front lat spread and his frontal bicep.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't. That's not something you can train for. That
yeah.
is something that has to be like. It's insane. Like the width of his chest and his shoulders compared to his waist is absolutely incredible. I only found out recently he was being prepped by Neil Hill because I know he's been prepped by Patrick Tour for a while.
Okay.
Switched over, but I was trying to get him on global, but he was difficult to track to nail down for an actual date and time.
Yeah.
But Mike Summerfield, fantastic poser, beautiful aesthetics. I'm amazed he even fits down to classic because he's so big. He's got so much size. His legs are huge. He's just, he's got like round, full muscle. I think I'm excited to see the improvements he's brought, to see if he looks any better working with, the different coach with Neil. But there's a guy that I just hope what I see in the pictures translates to the stage, because the pictures he looks like the Olympia champion. He looks like, you'd annihilate Chris Bumstead, you'd annihilate all of them. But it's whether that physique will translate to the stage, because I've not seen him granite hard yet. But if he can get really dry and full for this one, then he's going to be the absolute front runner.
Gotcha. Next guy I saw for the first time at the New York Pro in Tampa. He's prepped by Dennis Wolf. His name is Kurlo. I believe we pronounce it Kirill. That's how they were saying it there. Kudayev from the Ukraine. Tremendous shape on this guy's symmetry, lines. Condition was really good. My comments in the play-by-play were, by himself, he looks great. When he stands with the other guys, he needs to be a little bit bigger and fuller. Yeah. So that's all I want to see more of on this guy, because he's got everything else right now. Just needs a little bit more size. And like I said, when he's by himself, it doesn't really, you don't notice it. But when he's next to the other classic guys, and they're not small men, these classic guys, they have a good amount of muscle on them. But have you ever seen him before? Did you check out the coverage from New York?
No, I didn't see that, but I've seen pictures of him with Dennis Wolf, and I remember thinking this guy looks really good. And I know Dennis was, when I had Dennis on Global Muscle, he was raving about him, saying this guy is really he was really enjoying prepping this guy because he knows the potential he's got, and he's a very, very easy guy to work with. So I'm excited to see what he brings as well. Definitely.
And from Italy, I've seen this guy before. Very good. Giuseppe Christian Zagarella. If I recall, not the biggest guy, but man, tiny little waists, tiny joints. Condition was just spectacular from what I remember. So I think he's going to be a front runner. He's going to be first call out and pushing for this title too. But I believe he's won a couple shows already. Are you familiar with him, Zagarella?
I'm not. I'm afraid no. I'm not familiar with that guy.
Zagarella. And then the last guy you're a little more familiar with, Dunkovia Anderson.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Black Panther.
We had him on Global in season 2. He's got lovely physique. He's like a little Serge Nubret. Does the vacuum. I mean, he's kind of like he was like kind of like Terence Ruffin. He really embodies classic. And I saw some video he posted today, and he's kept that waist absolutely. I mean, his waist looks like it's 25 inches or something ridiculous. And he's not a big frame guy, but he's the way he poses. It's just like like Terence Ruffin, the Serge Nubret type. So you're getting real classic with this guy. So I think he's based out in the army in Germany. Yeah, army based. But lovely guy, great physique, and I'm interested to see what improvements he's made.
We're not skipping over fitness, women's physique guys. I'm not familiar with any of them, so I'm going to move right on to women's bodybuilding. The only name that I recognized, and I believe she was actually a very good women's physique competitor for the past couple of years. That's where I know her from, Margita Zamalova from Czech Republic. Yeah. I believe I've seen her like top 2, top 3 at a few shows I've been to. Great physique, always in condition, nice proportions, shape. A little surprised she moved up to women's bodybuilding, but Women's physique and women's bodybuilding, they're not that different, really. They're not.
Well, first of all, I've lost a bet with Alina Popper
What was the bet?
because I had Alina Popper on Globe Muscle back in season 2, and we were talking about Margita Zamalova, and she says, I think she's going to switch or should switch to female bodybuilding. And I said, no. I said, Margita is absolutely. She says, okay, then, Giles, I'll make you a bet. I'll make you a bet that Margita switches. I mean, maybe she had some inside knowledge, you know? Yeah. And I was like, no, she's doing well. She's made third at the Arnold. She's been top 10 at Olympia. I think she was she sixth in Olympia last year? She was 10th, and I remember she should have been higher. But she's one of these ones that has, well, certainly when she was women's physique, she has perfect proportions, amazing condition, shredded glutes, but she doesn't get the face, the drawn-in face. Because she's a very, very pretty woman. She's very attractive. But I always wondered how she managed to get the physique so dry and shredded, but keep the beauty, because she's a very beautiful woman. And she's, to be honest, I've lost count how many pro shows she's won. I think she's won at least 3 or 4 pro shows. Yeah. And I'm surprised to hear that she has switched over. But I was surprised. When Mayla Ash said she was switching, but then she ended up winning a pro show. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well,
when it comes to
you made the bet with Alina, right? Alina was saying she was going to switch.
Yeah, and I lost. So I've lost.
Well, she probably already talked to Margita and knew she was going to switch. Come on.
I'm saying, I know, because obviously the whole Wings of Strength, they obviously communicate. Maybe she was saying, I think I need to switch. But thing is, if Margita doesn't win this and win this clearly, then she really, because I don't really know these names are not really that familiar to me. If she doesn't do really, really well and win this and make top 6 at the Miss Olympia, obviously now it's coming back in December, I think she should maybe consider switching back to women's physique, because for me, she was perfect women's physique, unless she was really trying to hold her size back, because maybe we'll see a completely different version of Margita now, completely, much fuller and rounder. And but then maybe then again, if she's talking with like Alina and all these people, maybe they're saying, look, you're the look we want for the female bodybuilding, because she's got a killer physique and she's got a very, very pretty face, which so maybe she's exactly what they're looking for in a Miss Olympia, maybe it's that, because obviously they'll know how she's looking and everything. So I'm surprised to see this, but I'm willing to be kind of surprised by how well she does, if that makes sense.
Men's physique, there's a lot of names there, and the only one I recognized, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this guy's probably going to win, Sergi Constance from Spain. Yeah. He's been on so many magazine covers, so many magazine layouts. He's one of the top fitness models in the world, millions of followers on social media. He looks like a freaking god. He's been blessed. He's got a tremendous physique, movie star looks. I mean, I don't know what these other guys. Maybe somebody will beat him, but whoever beats Sergey, they're gonna have to be damn good, because Sergey he's nuts. That guy is phenomenal.
Really good.
Yeah. Last division we'll talk about real quick is figure. We have a few big names. We have Ria Gale from UK, who you've had on Global once or twice.
Yeah, she's looking good.
Very good. Rahel Kuchia from Switzerland. I follow her on social media. Looks really good. One of the few Americans, Brittany Campbell, who was just 3rd at New York Pro, she's headed over there, hoping to get one of those Olympia qualifications in 3rd place. And I want to give a special shout out to Boston Pro, Jennifer Iritano. She's flying out in a couple hours, hoping to get the qualification. And I just know it wasn't easy. It's not easy for the Americans to get over there. They need letters. They need all kinds of documentation. Right. And there's only 7 Americans did make their way over, or are making their way over to Spain for this show. Okay. And they all had to go through hoops and get letters from sports commissions and all kinds of things just to be able to get over there. I don't know how difficult it is for Europeans to get here now.
Well, you see what Kamal said on Global.
What did he say? He said he's here because if he goes back to UK, it's going to be really hard for him to get back here again.
What he did, he went to Turkey for 2 weeks, and he said going from Turkey to America, he had no problems. He was asked one question at the airport and sent right through. He said it was easy. He said he was expecting to be really questioned down, a lot of paperwork. He said they asked him one question and just said, "Okay, then you're good."
Wow. Well, what about UK to US?
UK to US. I don't know. I think they probably have to fly via Canada.
Oh, because I mean, you're theoretically, you better be coming to the Olympia. You
Yes,
better be.
I hope so.
Come on now.
Also, you give a mention to Rahel Kutcher from Switzerland.
I did.
Oh, sorry.
I think I called her Rahel. It's Rahel.
Rahel. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't. She's another one. She's a beautiful looking little doll face, and then she's got this badass shredded physique. I mean, when we had her on Global a few weeks ago, and she sent me all over the pictures and the video afterwards, that I hadn't seen yet. And my God, she's absolutely incredible. The striations in her delts, and she posted a video of picture of her legs out today. I mean, her condition is insane, but she still managed to retain the femininity in the face. So, she's an extraordinary athlete, and I think she's one you really need to keep an eye on. So I'd like to see her do well. Also, Hannah Prowse as well. She's very good as well. She's from Germany. We did her on our shout-outs on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago, and she's one that keep an eye on her as well. Definitely.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, I think this is going to be an excellent show. Got great competitors. I think the fact that they opened up qualification for the Olympia to top 3, it helped a lot. Helped get more entries, and like I said, it's been so tough for all these European competitors to try to do these U.S. shows this year. The ones that half the shows were canceled or postponed anyway, and then you see the difficulties they had in traveling here. So I'm glad that this show happened when it's happening before the Olympia, and plenty of time for all these people to qualify and then take their time and prepare for the Olympia. You may or may not be going. We'll see. We'll see. We're not. Yeah, and we're going to be doing a play-by-play. There is a stream, and we're going to be following along with that. The timing is much better if you're in Europe. It's 9 a.m. judging and 3 p.m. finals, which take away 6 hours go back 6 hours for that for the U.S. on the East Coast, another 3 hours. So, geez, that would be midnight on the West Coast of the U.S. for judging the day before, 3 a.m. that day if I'm going to wake up and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, but we will be doing a play-by-play thread on MD for sure. And, hopefully we're still trying to sort out, see if we can get somebody there. I know it's kind of last minute, but this is COVID, guys. This is not normal. These are not normal times and circumstances. Things are a little more complicated now.
Can I ask you a question? Off topic, slightly off topic, on topic.
Yeah.
There's rumors that they might be giving out some special invites. Given who's doing Chicago, and now who's doing this one, who do you think they'll be giving special invites to in the Men's Open?
I don't know if anybody needs a special invite. I mean, who else out of the top competitors? Everyone's either qualified.
Steve Kuclo?
I had asked Steve, are you doing the Olympia? And he wasn't sure. So maybe, he was 6th place last year. But, they might say, why do you need a special invite? But you know what? Gunther never needed a reason for a special invite. Gunther Schlierkamp.
Yeah. I'd be sad if Akim and Steve Kuclo, because Steve Kuclo and Akim were the two guys that really stepped up last year. I know that Akim was 9th, Steve was 6th. I know because if Steve made top 5 at the Olympia qualifying for the following year?
Yeah,
So
he was 6th. He was 6th.
Spot. So I'd be very surprised if the All-American boy, the one everyone loves and the crowd favorite, Steve Kuclo, is not in the Olympia. So I think that's going to be. I think if there's anyone going to be getting a special invite, I think it'll be Steve Kuclo.
Yeah, because we'll talk about Chicago next week. It's not that far away, but we'll talk. Let's not even talk about Chicago yet. I don't want to get way ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I do agree. If they're going to give a special invitation to one man for the Mr. Olympia, and it would have been maybe Rami, but now Rami's not going to need it. Steve Kuclo for sure. I mean, I'd love to see. I always love seeing Steve. We love. He's a great guy. He's got a great physique. He's good for the sport. He's just a good guy to have in the Olympia. Why wouldn't you want him up there?
What about Sergio if he doesn't win Chicago?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the Arnold, 5th at the Arnold.
True. Well, you know what? The special invitation thing, I don't think there were any specific rules. They could give out 2 if they wanted. They could give out 5 if they want. It's their show.
I think I said to Dan Solomon on episode 7, season 2 of Global Muscle, I said, this was back in March, April. I said, surely they're gonna relax they're gonna give out a ton of special invites or make top 3 for all the shows to qualify. Now they've done top 3 for Spain.
Yeah.
There is rumors that they will be giving out special invites, and I'd be very surprised if they didn't give out at least 2 or 3. Well, don't forget, Flex Lewis got a special invite.
I mean, yeah, he's a 7-time 212 Olympia champ. That's,
No,
I don't think even,
no.
I think that should have qualified him, but what do I know? But yeah, you know what? It wouldn't even surprise me too much if at some point in the next few days they announce that Chicago will be top 3 also for
Yeah,
all the
sure.
divisions.
It's good. No,
Why
100%.
not?
I think if they're doing it for Spain and there's only one show left in America, I think it should be the same rules for Chicago as it should be for the Spain show, because I think doesn't make sense to me why they would. Yeah, they should make top 3 at Chicago 100%.
I could see that announcement happening like Wednesday of next week, like last minute. And just, it'll be a big relief to a lot of these guys because they're like, geez, Sergio missed winning that show by a hair 2 years ago to Mike Lockett.
Yes.
And he missed winning Tampa Pro by another hair to Justin. No, I'm sorry, Alex Rivera Rolón. So
We've got Justin Rodriguez. We've got coming in next. I know we'll talk about Chicago next week.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. We got plenty to talk about Chicago. So this is Europa Pro happening this weekend. It's actually a 4-day event because there's a pro qualifier with many, many amateurs leading up to that. But Sunday is the pro show. Like I said, the times in Spain are going to be 9 a.m. judging, 3 p.m. finals. So take 6 hours away for that, guys, for East Coast of the U.S., which would be 3 a.m. Yeah, 3 a.m. for the judging, and man, I'm bad at math. Some point later in the day would be the finals. Yeah, it would be 9 a.m., 11 a.m. I think.
You're behind, not in front.
Huh?
You're behind.
No, we're behind. We're behind. Are the finals that early though? I might be wrong. I know it was 9 a.m. and something else.
3 p.m. It'll be 9 a.m. for you.
Was it 3 p.m. though? It might be like 5 p.m. I'll have to look again.
7 a.m. for you then.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I believe it was 11 because I was happy that, okay, at least I don't have to wake up in the middle of the damn night to watch the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 a.m. It's the witching hour. I don't like to do anything in the witching hour.
Well, I just hope this show is as exciting as the New York Pro, the Tampa Pro, the Cali Pro. Because I think there's especially the Tampa and the New York, those shows were so good. They were such thrilling shows, and I think there was a real buzz and excitement. I think that we all were craving after what's gone on this year, So I just hope that, because when we've seen this competitor list, I mean, there was hundreds of competitors in this show, and obviously got the amateur show as well, which is going to be absolutely colossal. So I'm really, really excited to see what. I think this is, because someone said this is like kind of like Europe's Olympia. This show.
Is this the first pro show in Europe for 2020?
Has to be, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's going to be insane. The fans are going to be going crazy. They've been waiting all year for a show. A lot of these fans, they couldn't make it over to the U.S. and a lot of the shows didn't happen anyway. So, I'm sure that place is going to be electric.
But I would like to see the British Grand Prix be a qualifier for the 2020 Olympia. It doesn't make sense to me to make it a qualifier for the year after. I think that and Romania, maybe Romania. No, I think if it's before the Olympia, have it for that qualifier for that year's Olympia, not the following year. Change it.
Could happen. It could happen, Giles. We've got things change so rapidly with all this stuff going on. It could happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they end up making everything a qualifier for the 2020 Olympia. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure the powers that be are letting it run through their heads right now, kind of sorting it out and seeing what they want to do. So that's it. Giles, I'm hoping you'll be on the play-by-play. I'll be on there at some odd hour of the day or night. So guys, please go to musculardevelopment.com on Sunday. We will be doing play-by-play for this. Possibility we're going to be getting some video. Like I said, I wish I could be more definitive about all the stuff we're going to be doing, but a couple things are still being determined as we speak. So we'll see what happens. But for sure, we're going to be doing the play-by-play. Please join along and commentate and listen, give your opinions and insights and argue with each other and try not to call each other any bad names or anything.
And it's a very, very reasonable 4K live stream that I believe is going to be, because I was over at obviously in Spain with Brandon Curry back in February on the Olympia All-Star Tour. Yeah. And we saw when we just did a seminar at one of the gyms, we saw the setup, like the multi-camera setup with the switches and the equipment that their media team had. So this is going to be done really, really well. And I think it's very, very cheap as well. So I think it's going to be. I expect good things from Emilio. Very good.
It was like 14 or 15 euros.
Something like that for 4 days worth of.
Yeah. And it gives
So,
you access to everything day and night for 4 days, and it's pretty damn great. Probably comes out to like 3 cents an hour. Anyway, Giles, thank you so much. Always appreciate your insights, opinions, witticisms, criticisms. And we'll do this again next week for Chicago. But in the meantime, guys, get excited. The big show is happening, Europa Pro in Alicante, Spain, this Sunday. Check it out. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it very much. And we'll see you next time.